Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem HaKadosh. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone at Ruwan. Shalom to all the brothers doing the work of Syrian truth. Got this article on Axios. It says, what in Dallas, a model smart city project bears fruit. I'll read a bit. So it says, by blitzing a troubled neighborhood with smart city technology, including AI cameras on streetlights and ubiquitous Wi-Fi, Dallas officials have seen crime reduction and quality of life improvements that they hope to replicate elsewhere. Why it matters. Smart city initiatives fell out of favor nationally after lots of money was spent with few results, but projects like the one in Red Cloud in southeast Dallas are starting to deliver on the promise that earlier efforts did not. This is what driving the news. Dallas has won national recognition for its Red Cloud transformation project, in which all streets, alleys, and sidewalks are reconstructed in conjunction with multiple technological quality of life improvements, as the city put it. So Wi-Fi is provided over 190 homes, over 21 acres. New LED streetlights were installed, equipped with AI overhead cameras. I think in London they've been replacing with like LED headlights, maybe from, I don't know, like 2000, from forever ago. Like, I think maybe by now it might all be already converted within London anyway, to LED. And I think the vast majority, if not all, have cameras. It might, I'm not sure if all the street lights have cameras, but I think a fair few do. But this is kind of a similar setup to like London. I think London's been, as far as for like what, the most surveilled city in the world. It's like the amount of cameras is pretty much anywhere. Like, and that is something that, it's funny. You go through this article, it's not until you get to the bottom they talk about privacy concerns, but that's like the main thing with all these technologies, because you got what, like AI cameras. You go to China, they got the facial recognition, which links in with like the Sesame credit system they have in a few cities, where they're you know if you're doing certain things, you're gonna get points docked from you. It's gonna track where you are and then utilize that information to enforce whatever they desire to enforce. This is the mindset of how society's trying to get pushed, because the appeal, the sell is always safety, security, your own well-being. So this is what the neighborhood, which has a reputation for drug and crime problems, was selected as needing the most tender loving care, based on the city's racial equity plan, said Jacob McCarroll. And it's similar to with the jump shot and whatnot, where they were over here and in the States saying like, Jake is like a key demographic that need to be receiving this. So we're gonna have extra plans to focus to make sure these guys get. So it's the areas they're gonna work in, it's gonna be where Jake's at, because why? It's basically gonna be building up that infrastructure within Jake. So it's all gonna be transplanted into use for the full on system once that rice grain gets introduced. That rice grain is really going to be a factor. It's going to be a key component of it. It basically ties it together, because with smart cities, that's it said with the Wi-Fi being spread out, that's how you tie it into the Internet of Things, where everything communicates. Then it communicates with a rice grain. So it says racial equity. So okay, all the neighborhood sidewalks, streets, and alleys are repaired or reconstructed, and technology overlaid. The tech allows city officials to conduct pedestrian, vehicle, and bicycle counts that inform traffic pattern decisions. So yeah, um, that means obviously if it's able to count, fucking bikes and pedestrians, then be able to track where people are. And the thing is they're saying, I think maybe a bit further down it says they don't use facial recognition technology, but that's something that from when you're recording, you've got cameras tracking these things, you could, like, that's something that can be done after the fact. Like, doesn't need to be set up within a system. They've basically got everything there to then just transplant that in with ease. And then, you have a much greater level of control and accountability. And you just link that up with, like, police databases. Then they'll be able to, start setting up pre-crime. Because that's kind of where it's leading. Because what does it say? It says the tech allows city officials to conduct... Okay, yeah. So the new cameras have caught crimes in progress and discouraged a lot of illicit activities, Macaro tells Axios. So yeah, that's the appeal. It'll be restricting where crime can be done, how much crime is done. Being able to say like, hey yo, this guy just fucking pulled up and pulled out a fat fucking fat gun and shoved it in their face and told them to hand over the goods. So then they'll be able to get cops out. But then what's the flip side is, tracking where people are, keeping track of what everyone's up to. And then, depending on sound, what if they get sound or not, what people are saying. And then, being able to put that through algorithms, through different AI programs and kind of set that shit up. These, the whole smart city is similar to, setting up like, what's it like? It's like Nest is the home thing for like, managing the windows, the heating, various different things. And then, so there was Nest or something else I was thinking, like Amazon Alexa or what's the Google Home, where you have like the speaker that's always listening. So you can, be lying on the couch and say like, okay Google, or say, hey Alexa, or hey Siri, or whatever. And then because it's always listening, then you get the convenience of just being able to, okay, turn on this music or turn off that or order this off Amazon. You can set a bunch of things up and you get that convenience, but then you get what? The technology always listening, which is similar to like, remember the Samsung smart TVs? It was revealed in that they were always listening, and then what, they're hooked up to the net. So it's like all these different technologies. What how they utilize what they doing. They're basically being used as part of that system of control, and it's normalizing it as well. Because like over here in the UK, back in like, I remember the 90s, and I'm sure, well, it would have been the 80s before then as well. There was not anywhere near like the same level of CCTV. But once it once it reached to where it's like you're essentially always being watched when you're out and about, there wasn't really any pushback whatsoever, because it's it's already been done, and then maintaining it is the normal. So with a lot of these things, is they'll push it through, and then expanding on it further, because it was I think it was Tony Blair, so it would have been like after 1997, where they brought in like speeding cameras, where you'll and they have it for like the congestion zone as well. Like in London, there's certain areas of London where it's like if you go into, you have to pay a charge beforehand to drive in certain areas, congestion charge, and now like the ultra low emission zone as well. If you don't pay it, there'll be cameras on like all the roads where you basically enter that zone, and then you'll just get a letter like 2-3 weeks later, whatever, saying, yo, you owe XYZ, pay the fuck up, cough it up. You get, you just get your fine. So it's like all these technologies That's the thing. That's what where it's gonna go to, where these things are automated, where it's like, you keep on top of people, and then once it makes enforcement way easier, which is, hey, where all this is heading to, where it can all be linked in to that system, where being able to, communicate and see what people are doing is going to be even easier because of the right screen. So this is what they're saying. We're totally trying to give the neighborhood a 180, McCarroll said. If you drive through it now just for 2 minutes, it's pretty amazing, the overall morale boost. Neighbors are happier, nicer, smilier. Now that we have the cameras there, he said, it's just a much more welcoming environment. There is many elderly residents and they have peace of mind and safety. Yeah. So I said they fixed many blah 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 blah. Everything's got better. Life's great. But then what does it say? The live brought accountability to vendors. So it says yes, but in years past, backlash against smart city projects hobbled efforts in various cities, including Toronto and New York, as privacy and Big Brother concerns emerged. So yeah, if there's pushback, then they'll slow it up and then kind of do it elsewhere, and then build the profile to kind of sell it as like, oh, it's gonna be great. You're gonna get this. You're gonna get that. It's gonna be no more crime. You're gonna be able to go out and about, and it's like, yeah, all kinds of things will be safe, and then we'll clean up your neighborhood, and there'll be no more fly tipping. All these the appeal to kind of get people on their side, and then hey, once it's in, it's in. Because what else it says? It says some cities have banned specific technologies, such as facial recognition software, amid doubts over its accuracy or concerns over the cities stealthily collecting data on their citizens through video surveillance, wrote Susan Watcher, co-director of the Penn Institute for Urban Research. So far in Dallas, the changes are seen as improvements, not intrusions. So yeah, well, people saying that, simple as all hell, because it is an intrusion. It is basically, Esau being able to keep that, establishing a system when it's gonna, be able to keep track of what's going on in various parts, these cities, and then having technologies tied to it, so you can, auto find, like with the, congestion charge zone and whatnot, where you just, drive through, it'll catch your license plate on the camera. Then that shit just gets automatically sent. AI writes out your name and whatever the letter, pay this by this date. And that shit gets mailed to your house. So yeah, it's funny because it said like Toronto and New York, they're trying to make it happen, but it didn't run. And that's how it is with a lot of these things. It's example I use is like the ID cards in the UK, that for the longest they were trying to get that in. I think over a decade, like they were trying that for maybe even longer than that. So I think in like the 1980s they might have first said it, but it didn't get through. Because why? Because there was that constant pushback, and then centralizing it all, people are reverse to it over here. There's Europe, kind of mainland Europe anyway, is more, these guys will fucking run riot over any and everything. But over here in the UK as well, it's somewhat similar. People, because it was the same during like the pandemic, during the lockdown, where people were still kicking up a fuss. So I read this, Isaiah 14:12. It says, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north." Yeah, I'll ascend into heaven. This is why, you get these guys, these elites, these guys at the top of Esau's world. They'll be up in skyscrapers. They'll be looking down on people. They'll separate themselves from, the general populace. they'll be off in, their private estates, different, like, country clubs and other, organizations where they'll keep to people on their own level, because they're all looking down, man. They're all thinking like, yo, we're on a high level, and that leaks down to, the average Edomite, man. They'll be out here thinking, yo, we run this. In the sides of the north, it says, I'll ascend above the clouds. No, so like, I'll ascend above the heights of the clouds. I'll be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. And yeah, it's basically gonna be balanced out. Because why? Esau's attempting to exalt himself, man. These elites attempting to establish themselves as a power on the earth, man, where no one's going to be able to contend. That's really what was desired, which is why these systems, all this infrastructure is being developed. And it's funny because, the smart city kind of thing is that whole. I remember, like, a good example of it is Demolition Man. You have like Wesley Snipes when he gets woken up, and then the main villain guy like juices him up with all kinds of extra abilities. Then what does he do? He gets access to this to various systems of the city, but various automated things. Then he starts using it to wreak havoc. It's funny because that's where now they're trying to push it, where you'll have all these different systems kind of interact and communicate with each other and bounce off each other. So it'll just be kind of like you're going out and technology is basically making everything easy. But then, what's what Esau's trying to accomplish is it's in vain. It's futile. Because he's not even able to deal with the earth righteously, man. So Second Thessalonians 2 so 6, and now ye that withholdeth no, and now ye know what withholdeth, that ye might be revealed in his time, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. And yeah, that's a big part of how right now everyone is enamored, everyone's drawn to Esau, because he has the rule, and he's been given the ability to do his miracles, the deceitful miracles. Well, you see, like, damn, he can shoot a guy into space. He's able to establish various technology, various conveniences, through his refrigerators and washing machines and cars and planes and all these different things, different forms of technology. Even are looking at like, damn, who's able to contend? You can deal with this guy. This guy's too much. He's got all kinds of nuclear bombs, all kinds of technologies where it's like, if you're just a man walking around, like, why even waste your time trying to contend with him, with all the force he's able to bring? But we're dealing with Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So it says, what with all the deceivableness and unrighteousness in them, that they in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. But its cause the Most High shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, bad pleasure and unrighteousness. That's really what it is. That's why it's like now the way people are. Jesus. They're all caught up. Their worldview is basically based on their experiences within Esau's rulership, man. With Esau's kingdom, that shapes, every aspect of how they measure and interact with this place. Um, Something like with all, yeah. It's gonna end here. Revelation 13:15. It says, "And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed." And yeah, it's the scales. It's gonna be like you down, with the image with all that Esau's kingdom represents, man, or you basically gonna be removed out of the way, because a key part of now is everyone assimilating with that image, man. They're all maneuvering and completely at one with the the image of the beast, man. That's how they all maneuver and interact. Because all these different forms of what do you call it? All these different philosophies Esau deals with. Hey, these people out here be dealing with them, man. They'll be completely at one with feminism, with alphabet agenda, with all these different things. They'll just be like, yeah, that's just the time. That's how it is. It's but people should be able to do X, Y, Z. Because why? Just because they were raised there, man. And that's the structure they were raised under. What does it say? And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Yeah. So no one's going to be able to maneuver without that mark. It's essentially going to be what you get it, you get down with it, or else. And people are going to get, just like with the masks and with the jump shot. Because why? Because complying allows them to continue to be a one, man, and to get out from the system what they desire, man. They'll think, oh, we'll just do this, but then still, I got a holiday planned for next year, and I want to go see my family, do X, Y, Z. These are the things they're gonna be meditating on, because for them it's just, hey, they're just out here, man. But it's as all these different initiatives, these different things Esau's establishing take place, it's going to make that shift simpler and simpler. Once that rice screen comes, it's going to be peak. Because people are going to be, gaggling to grab it. Especially when it, aligns with survival, by itself. Then you're thinking, yo, I'm thirsty, hungry. Oh, well, I need to get some cash, so simple as that. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom, shalom. Yahweh Shem Shab, Shem Kak Dash, Shalom.